Hello, welcome back to the Real Sports Repo with my partner, Dion Johnson. I am the one and only Joshua Sears. We are here to give you our Week 6 wrap-up. You ready to go?
Let's go.
Let's do it. We're going to open up with what is the most pointless story that has not stopped being talked about until the NFL finally came out today and said, stop talking about it. It's nothing. There are no fines. There's nothing. We're going to talk about the 49ers and the Lions. First, we'll get into the game and then the everlasting handshake. The 49ers defeated the Lions 25-19, giving the Lions their first loss of the year. Alex Smith went 17 of 32, 125 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Frank Gore had 15 carries, 141 yards, and a touchdown. He had a 55-yard run to the 1-yard line that eventually led to another score for the 49ers. Crabtree had 9 receptions for 77 yards, and Delaney Walker 2 receptions, 11 yards, and a touchdown. On the other side, Matt Stafford 28 of 50, 293 yards, 2 touchdowns. Javid Best 12 rushes for 37 yards. Calvin Johnson, Megatron, 7 receptions, 113 yards. The big number there, a big goose egg, no touchdowns. Pettigrew had 8 receptions for 42 yards and a touchdown. Burleson had 4 receptions, 34 yards, and a touchdown. Before we get into the shake, what did you think about this game?
The game was played pretty well at the end of the game. Delaney Walker pretty much saved the 49ers and gave them that win and, gave them a comfortable cushion in their lead. Alex Smith played pretty well except for the ill-advised interception, but that's to happen. It's only his second pick of the year, which is amazing because before, by 6 games into the season, he probably would have thrown at least 6 to 7 already. So that's a good stat for him. I saw Michael Crabtree play very well, but he's got to stop the stutter stepping and the waiting and hoping that somebody moves so he can get around him. He's got to start learning how to just drive his legs into people and fight for that first down and fight for that extra yardage. Didn't see a lot of Vernon Davis, which I'm a little disappointed with because the guy is just a complete beast and they haven't really been using him a lot. So hopefully they'll continue to get into it as they head into this bye week next week. As far as the defense goes, they proved once again you don't run on the 49ers. Javid Best, 12 rushes for 37 yards. A pretty horrible day. He had maybe one rush that was more than 10 yards, which was luckily allowed, but that just proves that you don't run on that 49ers front seven. They will not let it happen. For the most part, they did contain Megatron, not yardage wise, but he did not score a touchdown, so that's always a plus. Matthew Stafford on the other side of the ball, he played pretty well, but the 49ers defense just decided to step up this week and play really good ball. And hopefully they can keep it rolling after this bye week and keep going. And it's no discount to the Lions. They're a great team. It's not the end of their season. Don't think that they're going to be on a skid because they lost one game. They only lost one game, and they're still 5-1. They're still number 2 in the NFC North, and they're still going to be a problem for a lot of teams out there. So teams, if you start thinking that the Lions are over, that it's a wrap, it's over, and they're just going to go on this horrible losing streak, think twice because you'll go to sleep on them, and you'll wake up in a nightmare, and your nightmare is going to star Megatron and Starscream scoring touchdowns all over you. So be careful.
Okay, and now we're going to talk about, for the final time, let this be the last time you hear about this. Dion, shake my hand, man. Now, are you going to come up running on me being all crazy?
No.
Okay, is this going to make any difference to anybody out there?
No.
Then why should it for the coaches? Please tell me.
Okay, NFL, no fun league. Once again, this is short and this is sweet. The guy came out. He was a little over exuberant in his stature when he came and he shook the guy's hand. He slapped him on the back a little hard, and yeah, he went and took it a little far with his excitement in shaking the guy's hand after the game. But what the people heard was that Jim Schwartz said there was an obscenity. I didn't see an obscenity because I tried to read both of their lips. I saw an obscenity from Jim Schwartz saying, "What the bleep?" So he got mad. He ran up on Jim Harbaugh, and as usual, teams come to their coach's aide. If that's their coach, they got a backing. Um, everybody came in, they got in the middle, tried to break everything up. Since there was no fight, there will be no fines, there will be nothing. Okay, look, it's very simple, people. He gave him a strong handshake. Big whoop. Who cares? Go cry about it. For NFL Net, for everybody to just blow this out of proportion, that means that there was nothing else this weekend that went on that was better than this guy giving this guy a strong handshake. And you mean to tell me that we at all these at ESPN, at NFL Network, here on the Sports Repo, here everywhere else, anybody doing any sports show around the world had to make a focal point out of a stupid handshake is pathetic. That means that we have nothing better to do than to focus on something that really literally means nothing. No one cares that he shook his hand so hard. Go cry about it. If you're really that sad, go home, cry about it, get a hug from your wife, tell your kids you love them, let your daughter or your son hug you and tell you, Daddy, it's okay, and move on. You got a game to worry about next week. You don't have time to whine over a stupid handshake. Grow up. People, we are bigger than this. There are better things that happen. Michael Turner had an unbelievable game. You could have focused on that all week. I mean, look at the fact of all the defenses that played well, the receivers that did great things. The Eagles won a game. But you're focused on a meaningless handshake that got blown way out of proportion. We have to be more focused and more alert in the decisions that we make on what we report on. Let's not report on things that are petty. Let's report on something that's great that people want to hear about. Nobody wants to hear about somebody crying because they got their hand shaken and their back slapped a little bit. You're a grown man. It happens. Pretty sure you got in a fight before, and I'm pretty sure you didn't go home crying because you lost. You lost or you won. Either way, you went home. But nobody put it all over the news and all over television and made a big deal out of it, and everybody cries about it. And then they got sports etiquette and all this other crap, and that's all you can talk about. No one cares. The players don't. Players don't want to hear about that. They want to hear about stats. They want to hear about the game. They want to hear our opinions. They don't want to hear about a silly handshake and a scuffle that didn't even get into an actual scuffle, just an argument between people and players. And the PR guy is the one who saved everybody because he's the one who jumped in the middle in the first place. Shout out to that PR dude for doing your job. Let's move on and never speak of this again.
All right, so let's do it. I've got a news story for you that's probably bigger than that. The Browns at the Raiders. Raiders celebrating the life of Al Davis. John Madden in the house. We'll get into more on that and why I'm bringing that up later. You want to talk about some news more important than a handshake. We bring it to you. But first, we're going to talk about the game. The Raiders defeated the Browns 24-17. McCoy went 21 of 45, 215 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Hardesty had 11 carries for 35 yards. Mohamed Masqua had 3 receptions, 30 yards, and a touchdown. Little had 6 receptions, 72 yards. And Smith had 2 rushes for 14 yards and a touchdown. On the Raiders side of it, Bowler, who came in for an injured
Jason Campbell.
Jason Campbell, thank you. Went 8 of 14, 100 yards. McFadden had 20 carries for 91 yards and a touchdown. Hayward Bay had 6 receptions for 82 yards. Boss had a reception for 35 yards and a touchdown. And Ford had a kickoff return for 107 yards and a touchdown. Before we get into the big story about this game, tell me about the game.
The game looked good for the Raiders. The Raiders are actually doing something. They're a little bit different. It seems like, unfortunately, Al Davis's death has actually been a good thing for them. They won their last 2 games. They're only a game behind the San Diego Chargers in the AFC West. So they're looking pretty good. DMC's running like he should. Darius Hayward Bay is actually starting to look like the guy that they thought they drafted. And as we mentioned before, Jacoby Ford kickoff return for a touchdown. That gave him a good score. So Ford is going to be able to continue to do great things for them in their return game. Sorry, not Jacoby Ford. It's another Ford. I apologize. But Colt McCoy, he's trying. He's trying, and he's doing what he has, what he's got. All I can do is just hope and pray that things get better over there in Cleveland. It's always a dismal season for these guys, and it's never an easy situation when you're trying, but things just aren't panning out. I still believe in Colt McCoy, and I do believe that he can take this team to the future, and that he will continually grow as a great guy in this league, and show everybody that, coming out of Texas, he was a really good quarterback. The biggest thing that we're going to talk about in this is the fact that John Madden was in the house.
Building.
He was in the building. And
do you
the
believe
good old
in
fact,
Madden?
that Madden curse, it came to bite Peyton Hillis in his butt, and it came to bite him hard. John Madden's in the house. What happened? Peyton Hillis goes down. Peyton Hillis has had a dismal season from what he had last year. People, if you don't believe in the curse, these things are proven. They are shown. It's seen. He is there at the game, and Peyton Hillis goes down. Fear that Madden curse. To all the players, do not get on that cover. Let John Madden be on the cover. He don't get hurt when he's on the cover. All the years John Madden was on the cover, you never saw nothing happen to the guy. He didn't have a heart attack. He didn't lose a limb. He didn't get cancer. Nothing. He may have dyed his eyebrows a few times, but that was about it. When players got on that cover, they started getting hurt. So players, if you don't want to be on the cover, don't be on the cover. And if anything, the people in your city should love you enough
to not vote
for you. Because San Diego did it when Damian Tomlinson was up to be on the cover. They put out a petition to ban that man from that cover because they did not want to lose him for the season. And what happened? LT said, I got to listen to my fans, baby. I'll pass. And what happened? LT had a great season. Don't remember who went on the cover that year, but they had a crappy season. Let's move on.
So, anyway, sticking with the Raiders here, big news coming this morning. Jason Campbell out for what may be the season. There's a brand new shiny cornerback in Oakland with a brand new shiny deal. And I believe his name is Carson Palmer. Tell us about it.
Carson Palmer got a 7-year deal out of the Raiders for, I believe, upwards of $100 million. You put $100 million into a guy who hasn't played football in almost a year and a half.
And 2 first-round picks.
Going forward with your franchise as this guy as the man. You gave up too much for him, first of all. I wouldn't have given up 2 first-round picks. They'd be lucky to have gotten a 3rd-round pick out of me for the guy because he's been on a downward slope. And at the same time, 7 years? Is this guy Brett Favre? Is he like the new Iron Man or something? Is he Peyton Manning? Because I don't see him playing for another 7 years. I'd see a good 3, maybe 4 in him, but we don't know where he's at. The only plus for Carson Palmer right now is that he's had the proper time to recover from any surgery and heal up any injuries that he had. And he's probably been staying in good football shape, which I'm pretty sure he'll do because Palmer's not an idiot. He came out of SC, and they don't breed dummies. They breed smart people, and they breed football players. So this is a big stretch for them. So we're going to see how it plays out. Now, next year, they don't have a pick until the 5th round.
No first, no second, no third, no fourth.
I don't know what you're going to get in the 5th round, but you better hope you get a gem of a receiver because you're going to need a few receivers, you're going to need some linemen, and you're going to need some help on your defense. So hopefully with the 3 picks that you have left, Raiders, you can make something happen. But other than that, it's going to be another season at the bottom if you guys don't keep this going this season.
Talk about the Bengals and receiving 2 first-round picks. I think they're the winners in this deal.
Very big winners. The Bengals will continue to build that team. Andy Dalton is a beast. That man is doing beautiful. Very, very good. A.J. Green's doing great. They've got those receivers over there. That defense is young. Everybody's having fun. It's going to be a good season for the Bengals. They will continue to improve, go forward. They just need another running back because Cedric Benson doesn't know how to stay out of legal trouble off the field. So if they can get themselves a running back and with one of those first-round picks they just received, then they should do very well, and they should be able to take themselves to brand new heights and continue competing and once again make the state of Ohio proud for a reason because Cleveland has not made them happy, especially with the dismal season that the Cavaliers had. I don't even want to go into that.
Almost a cursed city. Join us on part 2 where we're going to talk about the Bengals game. We'll bring that up first. And the rest of the NFL schedule. And another trade happened involving a wide receiver from Denver. We'll talk about that.